I would just say, like, simply, if you come here, and even if you may feel like alone, that there's always something for you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you can find something or someone or some organization or even us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you can find some type of support system, some type of way to, like, network, make friends, make, like, your own little community.
Hey Wildcats, my name is Nicole Camacho, and you are currently listening to UAZ Podcast. I'm here with my colleague Rebecca Ursella. We're here with very special guests, Michael and Frida. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Can you please introduce yourselves? What are you guys majoring in, and what organizations are you guys part of?
My name is Michael Sanchez. I'm the coalition chair for the Juntos Coalition. And I'm also a student leader for Mariachi Arizona, and I also dance with Grupo Folklórico.
Hi, everybody. I'm Frida Flores, and I serve as the associate chair for the Juntos Coalition. I'm majoring in medicine and French, and I also serve as the Juntos rep for my organization, SACNAS, which is the Society for Advancement of Hispanic, Chicanos, and Native Americans in Science.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Can you please tell us what Juntos is?
Juntos is a coalition that's really made up of a lot of the Latinx groups around campus. It doesn't really have like a set, like you have to be a part of a certain sect of the, just simply if you serve the Latino like community in some way, your organization does, then you can be part of it. I mean, it really is made to help us like fundraise together and also promote different orgs together and do just like promotional events and kind of just get the member organizations more involved in the community and also just help them gain members, help them gain traction more with the U of A.
Yeah. It's basically a space for us to uplift each other, share resources. It's really what a coalition is. And I really appreciate how we all work together, and it's really a nice space for all of us.
Thank you for having a space for Latinos here on campus. So could you tell us more about your path on becoming the coalition chair of Juntos?
So my path is actually kind of unique because I was elected last year when I was a junior. And part of the reason I even ended up in Juntos was I was part of Grupo Folklórico. And they had me just tag along one time and they just said, go and try to represent the mariachi there because the mariachi had no representation. Half of the other orgs in the thing didn't even know we existed. And so I showed up and I kind of just really liked the idea of it and everything. And over time I became more involved in it. And eventually when it came time to have our last meeting last year, we started to elect because we moved more into like student leadership.
Yeah. And
I just threw my name in as coalition chair and I didn't think I was going to get it, but it was unanimous.
Yes.
And pretty much since then, I've just been trying my best to like kind of get Juntos up and running. And like, so it's more progressive and everything, but also more in a way that we're doing more than just simply just interacting amongst each other. We're actually doing more things in the community and like doing more things to promote each other and help fundraise for each other.
Yeah. My path, a little bit different than Michael's. Last year, I was also serving as the Juntos rep for my organization, but I also served as vice president, so it kind of naturally put me in, like, the outreach position, so I kind of, like, naturally found my way into Juntos, and I feel like, for me, it's access and mentorship and that, like, community is super important to me, so that to this semester, I kind of... we had some openings. Juntos was kind of shifting more to be student-led, so that's why we started creating these positions that, like the coalition chair, we have associate chair, we have our treasurers, like the typical positions that we find in reps or in organizations.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to take up a little bit more of that outreach, kind of aiding Michael here with the... running of the club, and it's kind of nice and unique because it doesn't really feel like we have like authoritative position. It kind of feels like we're all equal and we work all concurrently together. So it's nice.
It's a nice group like atmosphere, and like
Yeah.
you're really just trying to like. There's no one in there that has like an angle. There's no one in there that really is gonna gain much more from it.
Yeah.
It's like we're all at the same level.
Yeah.
We stay at the same level, and that's like really what we try to keep.
Yeah, it's more collaboration over like competition. It's really just us working together.
Yeah, leadership roles take up so much time and effort. So what kind of drew you guys into that role?
I think for me, it was mainly just like I had a meeting actually when Juntos was more coordinated by because we work really closely in conjunction with like the Guerrero student space. And at that time, the assistant director of Guerrero, she was having meetings with each one of us individually. And during my meeting, I told her my honest answers on where I thought the coalition was going, all this. And then she told me simply, she's like, you should run for leadership when we do the elections. And I was like, okay. I was already helping lead Mariachi Arizona, and so I didn't know if I really could, but then I just did it, and honestly, I've kind of been able to really like manage it in a way where it's like I still delegate a lot of my time to Juntos and try to make it like the best it can be. Because being like a senior, I mean, I'm only really going to experience that for like a year.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's kind of like you want to make it the best you can make it before you leave so that whoever's up next after you, it's not as hard a job for them to like get started and get going.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think for me, so I'm a first generation student, so I think for me, I knew I always kind of wanted my own seat at the table, but maybe not exactly knowing how to get there. So for me, leadership's a huge thing on like welcoming people, and I definitely wanted to be that kind of person for others. And it's kind of like Michael said, so being a leader to make it easier for the people after you, kind of carving a path for them. So that's kind of like why I fall into leadership roles. I think when I first came to the U of A, I didn't really naturally fall into those positions. I kind of had to like make myself step out of my comfort zone to definitely do that. And it's kind of corny, but like it's definitely what people say, like taking up leadership roles or like even like in a position that aids the leadership roles is like it really has shaped like my college journey, and I recommend it for everyone because sometimes leadership roles don't have to look like the authoritative like president, vice president roles. So yeah, definitely take up leadership positions if you can on campus. It's
like just a really good opportunity because even if you're not in the position for that long, or you might not be able to do as much as you wish you can do, you're kind of in like, at least in our case, we're making it. We don't have a blueprint. There's there's no blueprint before us. So it's like you're kind of can like pride yourself on that like, okay, I'm creating this. I'm kind of doing it my way right now and the way I think is best. But that way is going to probably end up being the way that it's done in the future. But you're being able to make it so that it's simpler for the people that come after you, for like the classes and everything that come after you, where it's like they're not having to start from scratch. They have a blueprint and they can either choose to keep it like that or they can change it for whatever they want. But it's kind of like you're kind of just leaving like your mark there, and that's what feels good about it.
And I think it's especially important for our community since it's not like Latino like exclusive, it's more like inclusive is like what we like to say. It's important for us to have those spaces, I think. So just making sure that we kind of set like a tone that like, yes, like you're welcome here and you can also like do this moving forward. So yeah.
Juntos sounds like a very team collaborative organization.
Yeah.
So what have you guys learned with working with the group?
I think it's just kind of like you learn to work with different kinds of people because we have so many different organizations in there, from fine arts to science to even some of like the multicultural like fraternities are even part of it. So it's really, you're learning how to like work with different kinds of people in different environments that all have different goals for their own orgs, which is like kind of the beauty about it, because being in like that collaborative environment, it's like, okay, we all have this end goal. We really want to fundraise or we really want to promote. But how are we going to get there as like individual groups? Because we all have different ways of doing things. We all have maybe ways that the other group didn't think of. So it's kind of like bringing all those ideas to the table and kind of being like, and just setting a plan for what we really want to do or what we think might be the best strategy moving forward. And I think that's just like a really big factor in like the teamwork building, but also like you kind of just build like that kind of bond between those people, because those people, they all coming from different backgrounds, we might not interact outside of here, but it's kind of like we're all in here, we all have the same goals, and we're really, really trying to just like work together to do the best that we can do.
Yeah. Like echoing the same tone, I think it's a huge thing on like commitment, like wanting to do it is what ultimately like leads to the success of anything that's teamwork based. So like we all have like our designated reps from our organizations, and like getting together, for example, last year.
Yeah.
The Guerrero Center was hosting a posada, and they do it like every year, and we were kind of tasked to kind of aid them in like the decorating, the activities that were going to happen at the event. So it was a lot of coordinating and like having people like commit to the role of like, yes, I'm going to be on the decorating committee, or yes, I'm going to be like, they did a performance. So it's really like a lot of pieces, a lot of puzzle pieces that have to like be put together. But I feel like I'm like a huge believer of like, if you like want to do it, like you got to put your foot forward to do it. So yeah, a huge commitment is what I think.
And it's just like when you come into Juntos, it's like you're coming in and realizing that like, okay, I have to commit. We're not telling you to commit 100% of your time to us, but we're also not telling you like you can just say you're part of it and then never ever like show it.
Yeah.
And so it's really just kind of like finding that balance where it's like you're committing time, you're committing like resources if you have any, but it's really like it's just really how it all comes together, and like the final product is really what makes all of us at least realize like, okay, this teamwork, all this building, all of this like extra work we had to put in was like worth it at the end.
Yeah, and you really get what you put into it. So yeah, people I feel like we don't really have an issue with people like not committing to their roles.
It's like, when the people come in and they like ask to join or everything, they've already know like these are kind of like the baseline expectations. Just doing the meetings, doing occasional fundraising, planning events that we have to coordinate. And it's really just it's really like you're coming in like already kind of having that like, I guess like at least for us, because we're in like the leadership, it's kind of having that security of these people know what's like kind of expected of them, and they're kind of expected to like follow that commitment through for like as long as they can. And I feel like that's a really like big like, that's just like in the back of your mind, it's kind of like a peace of mind. And to like at the end that product that we're trying to get to is going to be the best that it can be, because everyone put their best foot forward.
So with this team specifically, do you do a lot of marketing other clubs?
Yeah,
on your program?
We market a lot, especially through our Instagram. And like our Instagram, it was really dead for a long time, but we've kind of like rebuilt it, and we always post if like if one of our member organizations are like hosting something or they have their own, we try our best to market that. And we also encourage like other like organizations, their own pages, to like do it as well. And a big part of it is just really like getting our name out there, not just the coalition itself, but also the individual members, member organizations, because sometimes those member organizations are really, really big, or they're really popular. And in doing that, when they kind of show that their connection to Juntos, it kind of brings more people into it. It brings more interest into the coalition itself, because we're not only playing on our own marketing and trying our best to do it on our own. We're also kind of not relying on, but kind of like thinking that these other organizations, these bigger, more established ones on campus, can kind of help us like reach a broader audience than just what we were reaching before.
So what are some of you guys' events that you guys do semester or like yearly, besides promoting other clubs?
So like another like big thing that we do really is like the fundraising that comes along with it. We try our best to do fundraisers, but we also host like bigger events. Like this year, we're actually going to be really the main ones in charge of the posada that's put on by the Guerrero Student Space. But we were kind of tasked with being like the main planners of it. We organize it. We do most of the work for it. And I think that in that way, we're kind of like also promoting ourselves because we're doing these bigger events. Because we also partnered with them when they did their encuentro, which was just last week, which is actually a really big success. They had a bigger turnout than they were actually expecting, even though they had to downsize it a little bit.
So that means your team helps out other clubs to grow, advance, to get some funding.
We really support like clubs. Like you can come in with, if you come in with 30 members or you come in with 2 members, we're not going to turn you away pretty much.
Like we have, is it LSA, Latin Student Association? Their club is really big, and I think they can help in ways like promoting, for example, my club, my organization isn't nearly as big as them, so like even just like putting the word out there, I feel like it can definitely pique some students' interest. So that's kind of how we help each other out. Yeah. We work a lot with like the Guerrero Center and like the events that we're putting forward.
And they try their best to like kind of like promote us the best that they can. But also they realize that our individual clubs, because there's such a broad range of like subjects or like focuses within them, we're through their promotion, you're kind of reaching that broader audience that maybe doesn't pay attention to what the Guerrero Center is doing, or maybe doesn't pay attention to what this specific club is doing, but this other one they might actually like be more interested in. And it's perfectly fine, but it just reaches the broadest audience that it can, basically.
Yeah. So I have a question here, but you have answered it in so many different ways, and I don't want to ask the same question. But are you guys looking into other students joining the group or the organization?
Yeah, we're always open to like different organizations coming, and there's no set number that it has to be. There's no set like number of like people that are actively part of the group. Yeah. It's really if you have a club and you are interested in this coalition and you kind of know the expectations of it and you want to join, it's like just come.
Yeah.
So how do you guys manage like with the time? Because let me say if you have over 50 clubs, how are you gonna help? How are you gonna help promote the club, fundraise for the club? Do you really have a very well established team that helps with all that?
We've worked a lot, especially like this first part of this semester, really kind of building that groundwork and everything, setting it up so in the event that it does grow a lot bigger than what we anticipated, it can sustain that. Yeah. And it all really comes down to us having nearly always weekly meetings and always having good email communication and just really having like that set commitment that they can commit to like doing this kind of thing. Like we're not telling you it's going to be a cakewalk all the time, and sometimes it is like obviously busier than others, especially if there's an event going on. But it's like we don't mind it getting large because we know that our system is established enough. Our leadership is established enough. Our commitment from our current members is solid to the point that we can afford to grow bigger and not still lose like that like connection to each individual group. The help in like the personal goals of each group, trying to help them reach their own goals and also trying to reach the overall coalition goal.
Yeah, I think for now we're really focusing on having that campus presence here. We run about like what we could say like a dozen organizations we have right now. So in the future, if we do end up, maybe recruiting other organizations, probably after we graduate. But, it's really nice the way that Juntos runs because again we have a representative from one or two sometimes from the organization. So it's not like incredibly chaotic in the way that you might think, like, trying to get like 12 clubs to coordinate.
It's not like we expect like you and your entire club to just show up at any given meeting and that. And I think that also makes it nice, and the way that we've kind of grown to make it more like accommodating for people that maybe have classes or maybe can't show up in person. We also like offer things such as like Zoom, such as like you can Zoom in during the meeting. So some of us might be here in person, but like one organization, their rep might not be in town for whatever reason or whatever, but they don't want to miss out on any important information. Well, if they'll come into the Zoom, and if at that time they can't come in, we also do send out like email updates with all the information that was covered during the meeting. And we also keep detailed notes during the meeting that we also send out to.
And do you have a membership fee for clubs that are joining your
there's no membership fee. The only thing we have really is an organization agreement form, which is basically just list the advantages of being part of Juntos.
It's our constitution.
Yeah, we have the constitution, and they basically just have to abide by those rules, but then also realize with your signing of this agreement, you're also getting these other benefits that maybe you could get other ways, but it might be a little bit harder to to get those benefits. But through Juntos, it's kind of streamlined in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you guys talked about tabling, you kind of caught my attention because we are trying to organize a student panel this November. It's gonna be probably on the 6th of November this semester. And one of the things that we want to do to promote the event is do a tabling event. So does that mean if we coordinate with you guys, you'll be able to do different tabling events for a club like this one?
Yeah, we would be able to do tabling events not only to promote Juntos but also promote the member organizations like that, and it's really kind of just spreading the word. It's a lot of it is just trying to be as collaborative as we can, because we understand a lot of these groups, they may not have the resources, they may not have the time, they may not have, for whatever reason, be able to attend events like that. So it's really just kind of tabling, but yeah, it's within the realm of possibility.
Yeah, and for other organizations that are not necessarily a part of Juntos, we mentioned that there was the Encuentro event at the Guerrero Center last week. We had the opportunity to table there, but each of our organizations did. But it's also open to other. It's open
to community members, other organizations. They basically just have to get in contact with Guerrero. But with Juntos, we've kind of become that extending arm to other organizations too, because we actually had a lot of organizations that not necessarily were affiliated with Guerrero in the past that have kind of reached out because they want to kind of reach that base, because they understand that Guerrero is really a central place, especially among the Latino community on campus. And so it's really kind of you're really reaching a broader community that way.
So it's really we kind of find our way to table at
we
events.
Find a way to make it happen.
I'm just thinking of what's you guys' time commitment? It seems like
it's
you put in so many hours.
It's actually really not, and that's kind of the beauty about it, because it's you're kind of going in and having kind of everything set up how it's supposed to go already in place. That's kind of a nice thing about it, but it's really not that much commitment. I feel in my personal opinion, the longest time commitment is probably the meetings, which I am, since I'm the coalition chair, I oversee them, and I always make them under an hour. And she can even attest to this. Most of them are 30 minutes long.
Yeah, we try to make it not a barrier to others, that huge time commitment, because I can understand why it can deter somebody from joining something if it's a huge time commitment when they already have a lot of things on their plate. But like Michael said, while we mentioned that it is you have to be committed to be in Juntos, it's not a huge time commitment. Yeah. So we have our meetings, and then really aside from that is our outreach events, so the tabling, and if we're organizing an event like the Posada last year, which can kind of take some outside time, but we really like to carve some of our meeting times to planning and things such as that. So if anything, it's more of a time commitment with my personal organization.
Yeah, it's just really kind of being able to understand, because we understand all these organizations, all these different reps, they all have lives, they all have their own commitments, and we don't want to take away from that in order for you to be part of this. We want to support you. We want to help you grow. We want to help you reach whatever goals that you have for your organization. And really a part of that is trying our best to limit the time commitment as far as the set time commitment per week that you have to be for Juntos, because we're all in school. We all understand this is a big commitment with school, and joining an organization, that's already a big deal. So you come into a coalition or that kind of setting, you're thinking, oh, I have to commit all these extra hours or all this free time that I thought I had. Yeah. Now it's going to that. And that's really not the case with Juntos, which is kind of the beauty of it.
And also, I would like to know, if everyone's kind of doing their job and putting their part into the organization, it shouldn't really be a big time commitment. It's kind of how we like to run things. So if each organization is helping out with the events. Like it doesn't come out to be more of a time commitment than it should be.
And that's really where that collaboration and teamwork that we emphasize, like within the coalition, really comes into play, and it really like shows is like in the limited time commitment because if you're working efficiently, there's no need to drag it out. There's no need to make it longer or more like just make it longer than what it needs to be.
Yeah, and everyone that's there wants to be there. So we're always like
we're not forcing you.
So it's nice because everyone is obviously putting in that work. Yeah. So it makes for a nice smooth team so far.
So is this a student-led organization or it's led by a professor?
Yes, now it is.
Goodness.
For the past couple years before, it was led mainly by the Guerrero Center staff. But when the reorganization and everything happened,
recently,
it became student-led. And so it pushed, so we still fall under like that kind of umbrella of the Guerrero student space. But we function independently, like we run our own meetings, we run everything. And essentially, if we just basically need any help from the Guerrero, then we reach out and we ask them like, oh, we need some promotion, or oh, we might need this space reserved, or we might need, or this organization asked for this specific thing. And it's like, in that way, it's kind of nice because it's like, you're running it from a student perspective. You're not running it from a staff perspective because the perspectives are really different. And being student run, it kind of allows for like, you're focusing, you understand what each one of your member organizations needs. You understand what the reps have communicated to you. And so you try to cater what the coalition is doing, what we're planning to kind of fit those needs at the best that they can. And so that it benefits everyone, not just their own organization. And in that way, it kind of makes it nice that it's student-led in a lot of ways, but it also kind of just shows like students have a voice. Like they can be part of this and
run it.
Yeah, and they're going to be the ones running it. It's like, it's what you make of it. Really.
Yeah.
It was a little bit like that transition from last semester to this semester was a little bit difficult, like making or shifting to a more student-led coalition and organization. But I think we kind of foresaw that we were going to need to shift into a more student-led organization. So we were kind of like trying to transition that already from the last semester. So I feel like it's going like we're kind of on like a roll a little bit now.
It was kind of rough there for a little bit at the beginning, just kind of situating like, okay, this is what we are now, and this is what we can build off of. This is like the groundwork. We've laid the groundwork. Now we're trying to build up. And I think it's a lot of just kind of like, it's just a lot of collaboration, a lot of understanding, especially among the member organizations, because really most of our current member organizations were part of Juntos like last year. And so in that way, it's like they kind of understand that, things aren't going to be the exact same, that they're still going to be a little different, but our goal is like still remained unchanged, like to help the groups in every way that we possibly can.
Yeah, and I think also the beauty of like student-led organizations is that ideally they can be like self-sustainable in the future, not just having like a staff run it when they could like maybe leave or something. So having it student-ran kind of helps that aspect of it.
And it's also nice because when it comes to like, especially like the e-board positions, they're open to any of the reps. So even if you're not a leader, you can not be a leader in your organization. You might be a Juntos rep. You can still run for the e-board position. Yeah. And it gives you that kind of leadership experience, that administrative experience that maybe you were kind of lacking or that you didn't get the opportunity to other places. It's kind of giving you that because you are really working in administrative roles and you're really doing communications with like bigger organizations like Guerrero and other outreach programs, other things like that. So that's really also the beauty of it.
And have you seen any differences, like when it comes to expansion, you being led by a professor or an advisor, and you leading yourself as students? What has been like some of the... You
definitely realize once you take over how much work it is.
Yeah.
Because when you're just when you're a rep, you think one thing because it's like you go to a meeting.
You show up.
You show up, and that's all that's really expected of you. They take it from there. They have the agenda ready. They have, if that's a PowerPoint, they have that ready. If there's food, they might even have food ready. And so it's like when it switches, it's really like, I have to do all this now. I'm in charge of this now.
I think that's that's why it was a kind of, not like, I don't want to say rough, because it wasn't rough, but it was different.
It was like a learning
especially on you, because you were the coalition chair, so he got to see like the end of last semester, where like the end of like the faculty ran, staff ran organization to more of a student ran thing. So I would say yes, it was different, but we still get help. Like
like the Guerrero. Like the nice thing about it is that when we first like switched to more student led, we were doing it under the impression that we were like losing like the Guerrero, like the Guerrero Center, and so that's scary in its own way. So when we realized that it wasn't going completely away, it was just essentially like downsizing a bit. We realized, and they reached out and they offered their support still. That was a nice thing, because it's like, okay, we're student run, we're going to like change a few things here and there, but we also have the support of this more well established like space that is like willing to help us in like growing and like kind of making it our own, because that's also kind of the nice thing is like when we were like reps last year, you know, we had a say in how Juntos was run, we had a say on how things were done, but it's only to a certain extent, because it was done that way for like a couple years by the advisors in Guerrero and everything. So when you take it over,
you feel
like,
it.
you're like, okay, I could kind of build it like in my way, in the way that the students like kind of wanted more, or that do something different, and it's kind of like nice, that kind of trend. It's not an easy transition, I'm gonna say, but
it is not.
It's definitely like once you kind of get past that transitional phase, it does run smoother, and you realize like, oh, like, okay, we're kind of like catering a little bit more to the organizations, or what they had asked for last year, or they had kind of communicated even like this year, and so it's really, really nice in that way.
But it also gives you like the experience overall, because if you graduate and go to the real world and start working, of course you'll have the experience of how to run a club and how to study. This reminds me of how, because Nicole and I are both transfer students from Pima Community College, and most clubs are run by the professors or the faculty around. And usually you come in, everything's organized, you go for the meetings. And we had the journalism club. Right now it's called the media club.
Digital media club, And then we came here, and then we made this podcast. So everything was so new, and we went through so much by the filming, the audio, the editing. It was all on the side. And it was such a learning curve, and we're still learning. And it's so different from when there's an advisor from when it's student led. It's a lot of time.
Because for us, like the professor will do everything. The person who was leading the club at Pima, and as a president for the club, you literally go and everything is already set up for you, and kind of help out where you can. But usually it's them doing everything, because it's led by them. But now here we have to start everything from scratch. And also last semester I was part of the Model UN club, and I saw how students were organizing everything. I was amused. I was like, wow. Like everything from scratch. And I thought she was a professor at some point. And the next day I realized, oh my God, she's a student. And I was amused. I was like, okay, because at Pima it's not like that.
No,
it's the professor leading everything, and you just go in, like you said, everything's organized. The meeting agenda is there, and everything.
Just show
up. And we had, I think, a party, the end of year party for our club, and she did everything on her own. We just showed up for the party, and yet we're the club presidents for the club, and everything's organized. And right now we're organizing a student panel, and now we have to organize everything on our own. But I just love the experience of learning everything. It's a great experience.
I would say that having like maybe like a professor, an advisor, someone that kind of oversees, it kind of does aid in like the mentorship aspect of a club, because while we do have like staff or faculty loose at Guerrero Center, it's really like we don't have like that mentor, someone overseeing it. And I feel like when you were starting, like you're saying, like your podcast and having to learn how to run everything, I think you would have benefited from having like a mentor maybe, and then maybe shifting into student led, which is I think maybe why our transition wasn't super like.
It wasn't super hard, because we saw what it was like when it was just like almost like an autopilot, when it was they kind of had they had their own system set up, and it might not have been like what not all the organizations I wanted at the time, but it was set up. We saw how like it looked when it was like an organized perspective. So when they give you all of the power, now they're giving you all like the responsibility and being like, here, take it. It's kind of like
it's easier on us.
It's easier because you kind of already have like a rough idea in your head of what it'll look like. But you still have that flexibility to like kind of make it creative, make it your own, and I think that's a really good.
That's the thing I love about our podcast is because if right now we have an idea, tomorrow we implement it.
Exactly.
We grow so fast, we are growing so fast, but when it has to be run by a certain system, you have to wait for the whole semester to do something. We still have an advisor who helps us in so many ways, but we kind of do it like in a way of updating him on what we are doing, or if we are stuck, we're like, this is where we are stuck. But usually, if we have an idea today, tomorrow it's implemented. And it's so fast and in a way that we can grow overnight if we really want to grow.
I think in university, there should be more just like student-led
there should
clubs.
be.
Just because we're closer to like our adult life than, for example, like high school clubs where it really is like professor or advisor ran.
And it's just the perspective.
It is.
Like the perspective is like way different.
You learn so much. And it's like you were saying, like that can be applicable to the outside world.
That's so true.
Having those skills already in your toolbox can be incredibly like
it
beneficial.
Is. For sure. Like right now, Nicole and I, if we are to go somewhere else, we will definitely start something like this. I know what it means to start a new club or a new organization.
It's like hard. It's like it ends up being
it's
like
worth it at the end.
It was. And it was such a learning curve because I was so used to someone else doing everything, doing the meetings, doing basically everything that there has to be. Me and Rebecca were president for the club, but the only thing we did was send emails, I think. That's the only thing we did. So when we started this, I was like, oh my God, like I have to edit, so we have to find guests, we have to do this, we have to, and we were brand new to the university, so we didn't know what Juntos was. That could have helped us a lot.
I didn't even know any of the students, by the way.
Our first guest was the student body, which is Adriana Grijalva, and we were so surprised she even say yes because we were brand new. We graduated like a day before the podcast.
She's really like supportive because she's even actually last year when I was part of Mariachi, she actually showed up to one of our concerts and talked for like a little bit.
Oh my goodness.
And so it was kind of like just kind of showing like that appreciation. And I do know for a fact she
does follow us on
our Instagram. She does follow us on Instagram. And so it's kind of like she always really she really tries to support, and like that's the kind of like support like we appreciate. Because it's like we're doing this coalition, and for a really long time since Juntos was kind of like reformed, which was like around like 2022, it has really kind of like been hidden for a lot of time, especially like unless you were part of one of those original member organizations, it was really like rare to like hear about Juntos like just in conversation. And like this year we've kind of done more of like just promoting it, making it more well known. We're not saying that you're going that you may be interested in it or you may be like I'm gonna go join like the next meeting, but like you just kind of like know the name, you know what it associates with, you know that this club is part of Juntos. Well, what is Juntos? Then you're able to explain it. And that's something that you really could never do before unless you're part of one of those organizations.
Yeah, the ASUA body president, she's really supportive because Nicole and I had this idea after we graduated from Pima Community College, and we're like, we're going to start the podcast. She said, yes, we're going to do it because we're doing something similar to at Pima. And so when we emailed her, she accepted. So it kind of gave us the
I was like, girl, what are you doing?
Oh my God, somebody accepted our invitation, and she came in, we interviewed her. It was a success to the main library, the first of our episodes.
And only one camera.
And when she came, it really gave us the inspiration to continue because at least somebody accepted our invitation and he believed in us. It wasn't registered, and when we sent out more emails, we got more guests as well, and we kept on continuing because at least we had that first one person who believed
it wasn't
in our
even a club,
idea.
It was just an idea that we had.
And that's
awesome.
what's like nice about it is like you can come with an idea, and it's like if you just have like that one person that supports you, it's like, oh, okay, then I have that like little motivation that I need to like keep going, to keep that. It might be like tough at the beginning, but like they believe that it's a good idea, or they believe that it's going to be successful.
Yeah.
And so you just continue to do it. And I feel like that's a really, like, important thing, but it also emphasizes, like, teamwork and, like, being, like, collaboration and community, because
It's the most important thing because
Yeah.
the two of us collaborate a lot. Even at 2 a.m. I'll send her text and she Bright in the morning, I send her text. When she wakes up, she replies to them and she sends me like teamwork is
literally
the most
we were
important thing.
we were calling
Yeah.
and I was cleaning the dishes
Yeah.
and we were just having a whole meeting on the call.
Definitely the empowering other voices, not just your own, is like is a huge thing in any organization that works like with a lot of different puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
So
Can you highlight a moment you had while leading Juntos, or like an event that really stood out to you?
well, like, in my time, like, being in, like kind of, like, leading Juntos and everything, I'd probably have to kind of say that one of the more, like, successful, like, events was honestly, like, the Encuentro. It's really, like, the biggest event we've had, really, since, like, we, like, kind of took the leadership roles. But I would say that it was really, like, successful because it's, like, you're out there, and all these different organizations that are part of Juntos all have a little, like, tabling that they're doing. They might be doing an activity, like, I know NSA did a painting, or they might just be giving, like, info flyers like some of, like, the frats did. And it's, like, it doesn't really matter because it's just, like, kind of that good feeling because you're looking around and you're like, oh, like, they're all here because, like, we promoted it because we were the ones that reached out and said, like, if you want to do it, you know, it's here for you. It's, like, they're offering it to us, but you just have to, like, basically, like, show interest, commit, like, do your little part that you have to do.
Yeah.
And be in charge of your, like, table. And I think that was just, like, kind of a really good feeling because it was a really big success. And it also really, like, just kind of shows, like, okay, like, yeah, we're in this new, like, era where it's student-led, where it's not, where things aren't going to be the same that they were in past years. But it's kind of like, okay, like, these groups still believe in us. They still believe in what Juntos is made for. They still believe, like, in our mission and everything. And I feel like that's just was, like, a really good feeling for me, at least.
yes. Kind of echoing that, I think for me, one of the events that kind of stood out to me was the Posada last year. Mainly because it was, like, my first time really, like, being involved in, like, an event in Juntos. We spent at least, like, a couple months planning it. We knew from a lot of months in advance that it was going to be happening. This was back when it was still, like, kind of, we had the Guerrero staff kind of eating us a little bit more. Yes, but it was still nice. We kind of separated into our own groups. We had a lot of organizations kind of running what activities, so like a photo booth, the performance. There was also some tabling there. I was personally part of the decorating committee. And I'm just a person that, like, enjoys decorating and that. So for me, it was, like, memorable because of that. But once we kind of got to see, like, the event play out that we had been planning for months, it was just a really nice feeling. The way that the Posada works is that, or at least that's how it worked last year, we had the dinner at the Guerrero Center, so they served food. I think it was like tamales or something last year. It was really yummy. And the tradition of Posadas is this thing called a procession. So I don't know if this is just in Mexican culture or if it also is in other Latin cultures, like Posada.
There's, like, variations throughout, like, Latin America.
Okay.
But we would be following, like, everyone that was there, we would follow a golf cart, and we'd be, like, singing, and we'd, like, move in different places around campus, and then we ended up at the bookstore. Yeah, like, the first floor is where we had the event. And then there's the mariachi performance. There was events, and it was just really nice because it was, like, winter time, and there was a lot of turnout, and people seemed like they were enjoying themselves. So I feel like that was a nice moment. It was to, like, just see the fruits of our efforts.
It was, like, really good, like, as far as also, like, community building, because it's, like, you're seeing all these different people. Like I remember we had games at some of the tables, and you would see, like, people, like, from completely different organizations that were not at all related, and they were just there playing and, like, having fun or whatever. And then we're performing in, like, as background music. So it was, like, it was just, like, a really good, like, sight, like, to see, like, how Frida said, like, just seeing like kind of like everything you work toward, kind of like the end result of it. And it's kind of like it pushes you again to do that. And we're hoping to make it even better like this coming year.
Yes, because we're gonna be
we're like mostly running it this year. So
so we're excited, but really just seeing like your hard work in any event pay off is always a nice feeling. And I feel a lot with like the community building, just because like that's what we really stand for. Juntos, our personal organizations, and even the Guerrero Center as a whole, it's really just community. So just being in that space where there's just so many people connecting is like, you can't beat that. Can't beat that feeling.
It is always a great feeling to be working on a project and then you see it succeed.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot of time. Oh my God, planning it itself takes a lot of time. And even if you're not literally doing it, but as you're thinking in your mind too, that takes your energy.
Yeah, it does.
So, and when you see it succeeds, it's always a beautiful thing. And I'm glad you guys are liking what you're doing so far. So we're going to the next question. Can you? Nicola's already asked that. So is Michael a dancer, and what's your group all about?
Well, they do mainly like just like the traditional Mexican dance and everything. They do work a lot with the mariachi. And then obviously they're part of Juntos. They're one of like the original members of Juntos that goes back all the way to 2022. And so like they're the reason that the mariachi is even there. They're the reason I'm even here. But it's their main focus is really just doing different performances. Like we have a ton this coming weekend, and then they also do the halftime show for the U of A, the Hispanic Heritage Game. They dance while we're playing, and so it's just like they mainly just do the dancing, but it's also like very collaborative because you can go in, you can be any like experience level. It's the same as mariachi, where you can be any experience level and join, and you can work your way up to being like performing, to doing those performances because it's like everyone knows Folklorico, they just kind of know the dresses. And they don't really know all the other things. They don't know a lot of the other regions because they do a lot of the different regions of Mexico that have the different outfits, different meanings, different things like that. And so in that way, you're also kind of learning more about the culture because like that it's not all the same throughout all of Mexico. It's very diversified and that really shows when you're doing Folklorico because you have different outfits, you have different styles of dance that you're doing. And so it's really like a very collaborative atmosphere. And I'm just one of the male dancers. I will say that they do need more male dancers because there's only about like 4, I think. So I do think they do need more. But that's what Mistotli is like in a nutshell.
So how has being part of that group influenced your leadership roles so far?
I think being part of that group has kind of influenced my communication because when I first joined, they didn't know I was part of mariachi. Well, like they did know I was part of mariachi. That was the whole recruitment pitch to me when I joined. They were like, "Oh, you're part of mariachi. This is going to be a cakewalk for you." It was not a cakewalk, but I stuck to it. And so, like in that way, they kind of made me like a liaison between like the mariachi and Folklorico since we do work together a lot. And I think in that way, it kind of helped with like commitment and everything. And so when I eventually got to like Juntos and I did more leadership work with Juntos, I kind of already had like that communication where it's like different organizations, like cross-organization, like collaboration, which I think is really important, especially among like the different communities on campus and things like that. But I think that it just really helped in that way because they kind of gave me like a beginning step to working towards like communicating more and doing like things outside of my comfort zone, but also kind of like connecting people like across different organizations. I'm
glad you're highlighting the aspect of communication because when people talk about dancing, you only think about moving your body, but you're bringing in the communication part of it. So I think like if you're just part of any group of 2 or more people, you always learn something new. Yeah, it depends on how you look at the perspective, but you'll always learn something new. So with the 2 of you being part of the Juntos organization, has there been any challenges specifically?
I think the main challenge was when, at least for me, when I first started, it was kind of like getting all those organizations like back and trying to get everyone back to being fully committed because a lot of people, when we ended last year, we were kind of left in a limbo area where we didn't really know what we were coming back to, if anything. And so it was kind of like just trying to get back. Like I remember going on the Instagram and DMing all these different organizations independently through Instagram, and like, please come back. And it was not a. It was, yeah, your organization took forever to answer.
I answered the email.
But then I kind of just started rolling and getting people to come back, and I think that was probably one of the hardest challenges, was trying to get people to just recommit and like take it seriously, and also like kind of take it like as what it was right now. Because I remember when I was doing my recruitment pitch for all these different organizations, I was telling them, I was like, it's going to be different. It's going to not necessarily be as like simplified and as like just done for you as it was like past years. Like you're gonna have to do more work, but it's also like you can get a lot out of this still. And I don't want you guys to like leave or go join another coalition if there's one out there, and just kind of like just leave Juntos behind. And that was probably the hardest thing for me, was just trying to convince people, because I can be a salesman, but I don't want to be a salesman. So it's like really had to like sell in that case. And that was really hard for me, at least.
Yeah, I think similar issue, because in reality, like there's no Juntos without the people.
Yeah.
So when you don't have the people committing to that, it's really hard for us to maintain our presence and really what we're there for, which is to like empower our voices. So yes. So if you're interested.
Can you talk more about your organization?
Yeah. So I mentioned before, I'm the Juntos rep for the SECNAS organization. So SECNAS, Society for Advancement of Chicanos, Hispanics, Native Americans in Science. Kind of a mouthful.
That's a long name.
And essentially we're an organization that's made up of undergraduate students, postbaccs, postdocs, doctoral students, even faculty. And I think it's a very unique organization in that sense.
It is unique.
You don't really see a lot of organizations that you have like...
Except everyone. All students.
Oh, yes. Yeah, except for a lot of students. And we're there to really help each other on our careers in STEM, being like in minority groups, in a field where maybe we're not so prominent in, having those people that come before you, those mentors, can really like aid your journey. For example, I had never gone to a conference before I had joined the organization, and they really sponsored me to go to a conference. And it's just really about the mentorship, I think, in that program. Again, we're also a little bit like less committal probably than Mariachi Roy. And it's really been an important part of my college journey, being in SECNAS. I've met a lot of people that are now a huge part of my life, and I'm really grateful for it. So, yeah.
That's so interesting. I never heard of a club that accepts undergrad, graduates, students, and PhD students. So I think that's so unique and so cool, and I love that. But was there ever a challenge when creating or being involved in that organization?
Yes, I think similar to what maybe happened with Juntos, SECNAS is just a small chapter, part of a national chapter. There's a lot of chapters in a lot of universities, so we're just one small chapter. And it was really inactive, like, during the COVID time. So once we, like, emerged out of that, that's kind of when I was entering university. My friend Dora, actually, she really, like, worked hard to build it almost from the ground up to get people to come, because similar to Juntas, it's like there's not a club without its people. So trying to recruit people to come was definitely its challenges, but I feel like we just every semester just keeps getting like better and more stable, and people are hearing like who we are. So Dora and I were definitely working on that last semester, but it was definitely a challenge. It's definitely very hard to make your voice heard in a campus so big. So yeah, definitely that was one of the challenges.
So we're coming to the end of our podcast today. For our last question is for any students who want to get involved with Juntos or any organization here at the U of A, what's the best first step for them?
I think the best first step is just if you have a person of contact or you have like some way of like getting in contact with someone that might be associated with the organization or coalition or whatever it is. I think the best thing is honestly just reaching out and like kind of making a like first step, that first connection to like becoming part of it. Or you can even just show up if they have like general meetings open to everyone. But it's really kind of just not being afraid to like reach out, not being afraid to kind of get out of your comfort zone because maybe you don't talk to this person really, or you've never really like communicated with this group, but you really want to join. Like, don't be afraid to like try. I think like don't be afraid to try something that you're interested in, because it's like I feel like that's a really big struggle, especially with a lot of people, because a lot of people, they're shy and it's not. And it's kind of like out of their comfort zone to like go out and be outgoing and maybe like go make that connection with that one person or the one organization. And I think that simply kind of just realizing like, okay, like let me just get out of my comfort zone really quick so that I can do this, because the opportunities can outweigh like the moment I might get of anxiety from like asking or doing that initial ask. So I think really just the main thing for me will be just simply try to reach out and try to find like some type of connection to get involved.
Yeah.
And for Juntos specifically, if any organization was interested in joining our coalition, every semester we kind of do like a recruitment or like our beginning, and we run through like our agreements, and anyone who's interested, they reach out via email. It could be our Instagram, which is what we try to mainly use. I feel like a lot of organizations now are on Instagram.
Yeah.
So if they are in contact with us, they can come to usually our first general meeting is like establishing like who is like committed for the semester.
Who is here?
Who is here who's committed to joining. And it's really like as simple as that, just showing up to this first step.
And if you have any like, if there's any organization out there that like has specific questions about Juntos, they're always free. They can also go on the Guerrero staff page, and if you go all the way to the bottom, you'll see me, and you'll also see my contact info. And it's also on our Juntos specific like webpage within the Guerrero Center. It's also there, like, so if there's any like interest or any questions or anything like that.
So both of you have been students here for over 4 years, almost 4 years, 4 years. Have there been any challenges that you think maybe the university could have done better for you to have a best experience?
At least for me, I feel like just finding different ways to get involved. And I think because for me, I wasn't really involved my first 2 years. So my freshman and my sophomore year, I really was not involved that much. And I think like when I say like involvement, I mean more than just doing like the club fairs that they do every semester and things like that. And finding different ways, because not everyone's going to show up. And I feel like it's like for a lot of people, even like me, it's like, oh, I didn't show up to the club fair. I didn't get the info. They don't know who I am. Like, oh, like I missed my like shot to join, like whatever. And so it's kind of like, and also like not every organization or things like that, they don't all table. They don't all have a spot there on that specific day. Yeah. And I feel like just making more like opportunities, but also catering to people that have different personalities. Maybe they don't have the kind of personality where they're just going to go walk up to you and like, please give me information, that kind of thing, like how a lot of people do at the club fair. And I think for like my first 2 years, like I was not very much like that. So I think kind of just making it like, I wish that they would have probably done more things to like cater to like a wider audience of people, and also make more opportunities available for different kinds of organizations and different clubs to really like promote themselves, but also like to help recruit. And I feel like a lot of clubs over the years, especially in like my like nearly 4 years being here, I've seen a lot of them like they start and they just vanish because their members all graduate, or they didn't get a recruiting chance, or the other people, they come later on, they're like, oh, we didn't know this existed. And I'm like, so it's simply just really just kind of like being able to not only like promote the student organizations, but also give like the students themselves more chances to connect with different things that might pique their curiosity here on campus. Because you're here for at least usually like 4 years. And so it's like, you want to make the most of it. You might do things like, you might never be part of this club or do this activity again once you graduate. But it's like, you still have that, you still can like say that, oh, I did this while I was in college. It was fun while I was in college. And it's just like that kind of experience really, I feel like is like unmatched. So I feel like just really the U of A, if they would have given more opportunities for like people to connect with different people and also different organizations on campus, that would have been the best thing.
Yeah. Mine's kind of similar. It has to do with like opportunity and like giving access. So the University of Arizona, they're an R1 school. So if you want to think of it like D1 of research. So we're a huge research school. And I think, well, I'm going to talk a little bit more of like my field of interest. So research here can be very hard to get into.
Yeah.
Getting into a research lab, you're essentially cold calling or cold emailing every professor to see if they have a spot in their, or every PI to see if they have a spot in their lab for you. So I think, I wish that the university made more events, kind of like ASUA Club Fair, where you have like a bunch of tables and stuff, but like for research, like for being a school that's so huge on that, I wish it was more accessible, because it is very difficult, and a lot of careers now not require it, but it is a huge aspect of it. So making that accessible and an opportunity for everybody early on is something that I wish they would implement forward. And it's going to be just simple. Outreach is like, it's such a simple thing, but it can really open a lot of paths for people. So, yes.
Do you think, because when you guys are talking about outreach and connecting students, do you think like the university could have maybe something like a party, like when the school begins, like when the school year begins, we have different cultures, like a cultural day, how they organized in high school.
That would be amazing.
Different cultures, musicians, like your groups, the group of Arizona and other different musics from different backgrounds, cultures, where they come and perform, or bring maybe a famous musician from somewhere and perform for the students. And then we have different clubs, tabling, because then they will have the highest participation rates. Everyone will have to come and see the people performing. But then if we have like clubs outside doing those tabling events where they promote their clubs, I think students will come in and then go and watch the performance, and also when they're outside they can interact with different clubs.
It's really like that is honestly like a really good idea, because a lot of outreach is you're trying to like sell like these people that are coming, and you're kind of marketing. You're trying to make something they're gonna like. So if you know that this is what's going to drag them in, you know, they might not be going there for to look at this organization or look at this like tabling event, but it's there. Yeah. And the point is like you're making it more accessible because you're offering something that isn't that the students want. And I feel like that's a major part of like outreach, because like you can do outreach one way like 5 years ago, and it's not going to be the same way that you do it now. And I think like you're evolving. You got to like know your audience. You got to know know what you're catering towards. And I think like that's really just like a big part of it.
Yeah. So what has been most of your favorite moments besides being in parts of clubs as students at the University of Arizona?
I think for me, definitely that transition from like living at home to living on my own.
It's a big transition.
It's huge.
Yeah, it is.
It's huge. And even I'm from Phoenix, so it's really not like super far, but regardless, it was a transition to kind of become more independent. While those were some of like more of my hardest moments, they were also some of my best moments, and I think you kind of like grow as a person there. Definitely not the same person I was like 4 years ago, and I think I can attribute a lot of that to like just living on my own and learning the lessons myself, and also my friends. I know we talked a huge thing on community, but my friends have been like a huge part of why I would say my college journey has been very, very memorable, to say the least. So, yeah, finding your friends and your people that support you and uplift you is what's so important as a student here, I think.
I think for mine, it was just like having to like make friends because I'm from Tucson. Coming from Tucson, it's a very big city that's very
I think it's
small.
so easy for you because you're just from Tucson and...
No, it's a lot harder.
I think it's like...
No, because then you see people you don't like and you're all like, okay, there goes like a friendship.
It's like hard because it's like you come like it's like a big city, but it's small at the same time. And so it's like you go to school and a lot of these people you've gone to school with since like kindergarten. So it's like you kind of have like that little bubble that's already set. So you come to this university that's filled with people from like all over the world.
Yeah.
And you're in classes maybe if you're lucky like one or two of the people you went to high school with that you liked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But, like you're having then it's like you're forced to like be out of like your shell. You're forced to come out of your shell and like connect with new people, make new friends. Like one of my closest friends now, I only met her because we had a Spanish group like my freshman year of college, and it was like 3 people, and none of us spoke Spanish. So that's like the whole reason we're even friends. And so it's like just even like little things like that, and it's like making those like small connections. Like at the time you think they're small, and they grow into something that's like bigger and over time it really like kind of defines your college experience. And I feel like that's a really like, at least for me, that's been like my favorite thing. It's just meeting new people and making those experiences. But it's like when you meet them, you're like, I don't think this is gonna like be that big of a deal, and then it ends up actually being a big.
You make friends everywhere. Like I think there's so many opportunities to make friends here, even if it might not seem like it. In class, in clubs, like just in line at like Chick-fil-A. So like I would advise people to like reach out and be like extroverted in that sense.
Yeah,
you're really putting yourself out there, because sometimes even the opportunities I get come from, it's almost like a networking thing. Like some of the opportunities I can get are from people I know, or one of my friends can like plug in like, oh, like, do you know about this event? Like, let's go to this event. And it ends up being like very beneficial to me. So that was kind of a ramble, but like, yeah, just friendships aside from the social aspect can be like beneficial in other ways. So
it's just like, don't be like afraid to put yourself out there.
Yeah, and people say that like coming into college, but it's really true.
We all think it's corny in high school, but like when you get to like college,
it's hard because there's so many people here that like it can seem very overwhelming. You're like, well, there's so many people here. Like, how do I make friends? It's really easy to like to get lost early on. You're very like you think you're all alone. You think like oh, this is how it's gonna be all my years here, and it's like, no, that's not the case. And sometimes it just takes you kind of going out of your comfort zone a little bit. Find your niche. Find what you like. Find your people, and it's like it'll come to you. Like you'll find it. You'll find it if you're really looking for it.
For sure.
So.
I used to think like if you're coming from Tucson and studying here at the University of Arizona, it would be the easiest way because you already know the community.
It's like a stereotype of like just staying here and like going here. But it's like fine, I guess, like when you're in high school because all your friends or whatever, like, we're gonna go to the U of A, we're gonna be friends like all 4 years. No, I could tell you that's firsthand. That's not the case most of the time, and and it's just kind of like being okay with that, like understanding that, not everything how it is like right when you leave high school or right when you start college, that isn't how it's going to stay. Like life always changes, people always change, like situations always change, and so it's kind of like just being comfortable like and understanding that that's a possibility, and like when it comes to it, I'll deal with it. It doesn't mean I have to like be all worried about it or be like prepping for it like right now, but it's like. Just simply like when the time comes, like being able to like roll with the punches, being able to roll with like being like just with change, just being okay with change,
being comfortable with change.
Being comfortable definitely is very important because I've been here in Tucson for 3 years, and when I came, I used to say, oh my God, I wish I was studying in my home country because then I have all those friends, the people I studied with at high school, and we all moved to the university. Then I will have that, so many friends and people to talk with. But I'm kind of also realizing that that's not always the case, and so you have to always be comfortable, even if you think think like gonna go with the whole group, like you said, you're studying and then in high school, and then you think that all your friends, you're all gonna go to the next level, the 4 years university, but that doesn't always happen. So even when you find yourself in those situations, you have to move forward and be comfortable with what is happening around you. Like Nicole said earlier, we are closing conversation for today. I know it's been an amazing conversation, speaking with the two of you and kind of learning from your experiences and what you guys have gone through, the great stuff and those high and lows. They're always it's always normal to have such moments in life, and it's been like a very long journey. So do you guys have any last words that you want to share with the audience, mostly first generation of students or students who are just
Hispanic.
coming here?
I would just say it like simply, if you come here, and even if you may feel like alone, that there's always something for you.
Yeah.
Like you can find something or someone or some organization or even us. And it's like you can find some type of support system, some type of way to like network, make friends, make like your own little community. Because like, I mean, that's part of like coming to like college. You get to make your own community. You get to make your own group of friends, make your own kind of thing like that. And I think just simply, if you're like just starting or you're like a first generation student and maybe you don't know everything that other people know about what it is to be in college and everything like that, I think it's simply just understand like there is someone out there like for you to help you, like to guide you like in some way. And I feel like that's a thing that like pretty much everyone should know.
Yeah, find people that like are walking the path that you want to take. Mentorship, I feel like, is incredibly important. So for any like first generation students out there, like there's a lot of resources for you to kind of help you get where you want to be. So kind of like reach out, look for it, and there's definitely going to be people for you. So yeah.
Well, thank you for being with us. And as I said earlier, here at the UAZ Podcast, we are giving a chance to other students to start their podcast under the large University of Arizona podcast. Yeah. So if you know of any students who are interested, and to our listeners, viewers, if you're interested in starting a podcast, it can be of any specific theme. It doesn't have to be under student empowerment. You're welcome to collaborate with us, and we can be able to help, just like how you guys are doing that big umbrella. Yeah. Thank you.